Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it gives me enormous pleasure to communicate to you on the concept of personality and competency. Personality and competency. You would have generally linked the word personality with another word, personality development. That's been routine expression. I somehow feel a little awkward about using this expression. And the reason is that our understanding about personality is very weak. And therefore, the destination of the development of the personality is also going to be going haywire. We don't know what we are dealing with. So, how can we safely create a destination for that? It's like a blind man leading a blind. The developer is blind, and thing to be developed is also blind. This blinding theory is an enormous, widespread, and deeply virus infected field of our social life. It is deeply virus infected. Virus because we have unusually very unorganized beliefs about what personality is. If you ask people what they should be, they will have probably, a treatise written on that. If you ask people what they should be, they'll have a longish treatise available. But if you ask people what they are, it's a pity. If you ask people what they are, they may not be able to say anything beyond a couple of adjectives. If these adjectives had not been there, God knows how we would have prevailed upon that diagnosis or that analysis of what we are, what I am, without the use of those 10, 15 adjectives. And they're vaguely used. We have never detailed these adjectives. These adjectives have come in our life as a matter of serving, probably an essay of 7th grade or maybe a poetry in the 8th grade, etc., etc. They vaguely satisfy our need of social communication. But we are no more talking about social communication. We are essentially looking at personal communication. Personal communication. Therefore, all the ethos and values where people decide what we are, the onus is now going to shift totally to deciding what you are. What you are. It's your own measure. It's your own calibration which will decide what you are. So I have a huge hoard of agenda and issues as I try to defeat that elephantine, poor, pathetic, illogical biased, prejudiced understanding about personality. And it isn't that I'm beginning this exercise now. My first book on personality, called Know Your Personality and Make Your Psychograph, was published in the year 2004. And the last and more comprehensive work was published in 2008. That book is called Map Your Competency. So I, as a human, I, as a professional management consultant, trainer, counselor, mentor, I have been trying to pursue with this subject to as vital details as possible. And what I realize is that our personality is a synthesis. It is a synthesis. It is not just the synthesis that it was. It is not just the synthesis that it was. It is a synthesis that is. It is a synthesis that would be. So what is the synthesis? Our ideas and perceptions, our reaction to varied situations, our aspirations, aims, our desires, our values, our culture. These are all massive processes that are deeply ridden in our system. So much so that it will be difficult for us to pick this up and say, this is the process, this is boiling, this is roasting, this is deep frying, this is shallow frying, this is saute, this is freezing, this is a micro oven treatment. We will not be able to say this. It is so deeply rooted. So in the event, the task that lay before me is gigantic, to say the least. Gigantic. Those of you who will listen to this discourse and probably, change a bit to their ideas about personality, well, that's the level 1. That's a very small number of people. But what about those people who are jolly well going through the exercise of living with their personality? It's going to follow you like a shadow. Personality is going to follow you like a shadow. Where's the question of you being able to delete that? Can I take a finger out? Can I take a nail out? The nail without a finger will be as much a painful experience as the finger without a nail. I have a gigantic exercise laid in front of me. And I'm energized by that challenge. Fortunately, year after year, my modeling has only improved. So as I stand before you now, I have something very, very fresh, something very, very energetic, something very, very transforming with me, which I'm eager to share with you. The model is going to be pretty much analytical. pretty much analytical. For a time being, please come off it. Please come off it. Don't hate analysis. For a time being, don't hate analysis. And once I show you the results of analysis, you will take it as a treasure. Then I don't want to oversell this idea of turning to analysis. I don't have to. Without the analysis, you will be hanging in the air. Pleasure, really a pleasure. You are in a hot air balloon without the balloon actually being there. Wonderful treasure, being in the air. But then you are without a footing. How do you like that? You are without a footing. May all of us live joyously. But no, it's not like that. Life is calling you. You have to do so many things at the material level. You have to obtain marks. You have to get grades, to write competitive exams. You have to score runs on the field. You have to stop those bigots as a goalkeeper. You have to score points. You have to score a bank balance. You have to make investments. You have to make spendings. All these are number games. How indeed it is possible for us to transform that joyous life in the middle of the sky in a hot air balloon without the balloon and the hot air? How are we going to perform these exercises? They are the perfectory exercises. The growing we are, the more these exercises. Your father writes 50 checks in a month. You only go to bank and fetch the checkbooks. You don't write that. Your father writes 50 checkbooks. He does his home accounting practically every day. When the children are sent off, and then he discusses with his wife, okay, these are the kind of issues. Probably we'll have to deal with this expense, that expense. Don't tell this boy he has a birthday coming. Don't tell him, don't make him nervous. But, we'll have to do this kind of adjustment somewhere. They're all analytics. It's all hard data. It's a hard life, hard action. If you can't do analysis, you will not be able to understand even you yourself. When you look at the mirror and you say, oh, that's me. Why do we say that's me? Because there are few geometries which are matching. The eye, the eyebrows, some people have atypical eyebrows. The lip size, the lip angles, the chin, okay, what angle it is making, etc., etc. There is a geometric liability on us. Even when I have to identify myself and say, yeah, that's me, that's me. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we come to the end of this episode. Before I sign off, let me request you, let me plead to you, don't make personality a subject stone of social exchanges. It's much more research-oriented subject than what it looks like. Then only it will become a thriving point of our intellect, our performance. With that, I say good night and goodbye to you. See you again next time.